So I joined the GLOBIS last year, October 2023. So I started from the GLOBIS Unlimited. I spent a lot of time on the creative PPT, but GLOBIS Unlimited, very simple and very easy to understand. So I was very much interested in that GLOBIS, and then I found the nano-MBA there, and so why don't we try it? So pre-MBA with 3 months, but this is 1.5 months of the time, and online, and whenever I have a small amount of time, I can try. So that's why I was interested in MBA. So now I'm working in cleaning machine company in Yokohama, and I'm in charge of the online sales department, and I have the 10 plus people in my camp, and responsible for growing online business. Before doing this job, I started my career in a Japanese electronics company, and I experienced the international sales and internal, collaboration with the Japanese company people. And then, 3 years later, I shifted in American, very different FMCG companies, and then spent 20 years plus of my career in both marketing and sales. Yeah, and most recently, about 2 years ago, I decided to, jump in a bit different culture. Now my company is a German company, and I'm working with more traditional Japanese company environment type of people, and I enjoy the difference of the culture right now. In a previous assignment to the company, I was in charge of the training my people about the marketing and sales stuff. Yeah, so I found that GLOBIS Nano-MBA is a pretty good one. So I strongly got interested in GLOBIS. Before knowing the GLOBIS Nano-MBA, I was thinking that MBA kind of thing is something like a very academic and practical and maybe waste of time. But knowing the GLOBIS Unlimited Todai, my view to MBA, especially about the GLOBIS, totally changed. I know something I wanted to go further and calculate my capability further, and I wanted to try some small piece of the GLOBIS to better understand what I can get out of it. Not only MBA was a perfect match to me because the cost is reasonable and affordable, and still 1.5 months I can complete. Time is not bound, only 2 times during 2 months I need to attend the class online. But otherwise, every week, some amount of the video is assigned, and I can choose my time to study. So it was very easy to start. That's why I started the nano-MBA. When it comes to kokorozashi, shoshi and taishi is defined, right? So shoshi-wise, it is about something I'm really passionate and enthusiastic right now, focusing my certain amount of time to complete something. So my shoshi currently is about turn around my company's online business. I don't describe very detailed, but overall situation is like online business is growing, but I know there's potential by combining offline direct contact with the consumer at store together with my online business. So I'm working with my leadership team very closely to how to accelerate the online offline combination to provide a better experience to the consumer, so that you can enjoy more revenue and the consumers are more happy by knowing our product superiority. So that's something I'd like to do and complete within 1 or 2 years. The next 1 or 2 years. That's my shoshi country. And time-wise, I have 2 kids. My elder son is around 20 years old, and younger one is turning 15. So I'd like to leave for them Japan as a great country. Great country, I mean, it's like today and safe, and food is there, and if I meet with someone from foreign country, I can be proud of and talk about a lot about my country. So I'd like to leave that to my son and daughter and that next generation. So saying out of things, but I think there are three things I'm interested in as my Taisei. One is about SDGs type of stuff. Secondly, decreasing population versus the productivity for this country. And thirdly, development business in the countryside, not urban side of this country. So those three are, in my thinking, very important and critical thing to get this Japan continuously, great country in the next decade. So I'd like to be involved and contribute to this country. So either one of those three. I think, nano-MBA is very easy to, adjust to, current life of the, someone who is easy to respond, I think. So when I was doing the nano-MBA, so normal week, usually, 3 out of the, 5 days, I was doing, no difference from when I was not doing MBA. And 2 of the 5 days, I think, I think there are some days that I can spare some time for the, GLOBIS and just 1 hour. So in such case, I wake up in the morning just 1 hour earlier, then focus on, learning the video in front of my whole computer, and then take notes. And I got, 3 periods learning this morning. Great. And then go to office, as usual. So keep doing that cycle, 2 months later. So I'm so surprised, possibly. So looking back my notebook, I have so many learnings, and I have been applying some of them already to my work with confidence. And I felt that I'm making some meaningful difference. So I think that's my MBA start with okay. My general advice who is wondering whether taking nano-MBA or not taking. So my advice is I strongly encourage that person to take nano-MBA because firstly, nano-MBA is a lot of fun, not only online video viewing, but also feedback or response always requested by the GLOBIS. So and feedback from GLOBIS is given, and also conversation with the student is prepared. So those were very entertaining experience to me, especially discussion with classmates. Different from the normal in-office corporate prepared training. So GLOBIS discussion was time for you to be real yourself. In a corporate training, we have to be sometimes a bit political to say, to say something in front of everyone. But in the GLOBIS, this is a very free environment, and you can be fully be yourself. So it was a great entertaining experience to me, and I done a lot out of it. So I strongly recommend you to just try it. Even if it didn't work to you, it's just 2 months and so a lot of money. So yeah, I think that there is no specific moment, but I am like a person who be, if something I'm interested in, go type of person, So, I studied the nano-MBA, and I find, this is very interesting. And so what do I do next? Was always what I was thinking during my study journey in nano-MBA. So, answering to your question, I think that finding nano-MBA is very interesting. So that, I'd like to try something even deeper. Yeah, just give it a try, pre-MBA. And if it is interesting again, then maybe but maybe I'm not. But, pre-MBA was also very nice so that my journey is continuing. Good question. So I'd like to say, so pre-MBA is even, greater version or even more interesting version of the, nano-MBA, I would say. So nano-MBA, it's very much flexible and engagement with your classmate is, but it's a voluntary engagement. But in the pre-MBA, during the class 3 or 6 days, always together with your classmate and teacher. So it is very condensed learning moment. So I'd like to say pre-MBA is time bound and more preparation is needed, but yet amount of learning out of it, it's 10 times bigger than MBA, I would say. Yeah. But one thing I can say is that, full-time MBA, pre-MBA, non-MBA, so bigger version is requiring more real commitment, but gaining more type of thing. So I want the commitment, longer time, and more in every week, every month, but getting more for longer time and every month, every week. So that how much are you confident that committing your next 2 months or next 6 months or 1 year, and how much of the time are you committed to spend for this learning journey? It's a question to yourself, I think. So general advice would be starting from the MBA and then getting used to it, then go to next level is good. So I do learning. And if someone wants to try running but no experience, then why don't you try just 1 kilo versus starting with the full marathon next week type of. So yeah, so I think that an MBA, pre-MBA, then full time is also good. But I observe many classmates who suddenly starting the full-time MBA and running a lot and going super fast. So it depends on the person.